Have you ever bought or...
This is Dave's Video Graveyard with Paulie and Dave.
Hey guys, it is Dave's Video Graveyard YouTube edition. It's our first ever film review. This week we went and saw I Feel Pretty, and I thought who better than to talk about a film about feeling pretty than myself. Paulie's here as always, and Nona's here as well.
Well, I didn't actually go see this movie, so you didn't invite me, so maybe you can explain to me what happens in it.
Did you check your mailbox?
Dickhead.
The tagline for this film is change everything without changing anything. It stars Amy Shumer, who is the internet's favourite punching bag at the moment, as Renee, who is a girl that struggles with self-confidence. And basically, what do you think of it? Tell us about the film.
I guess my first thing that I would say is that it's just easy watching. I wouldn't go in there expecting, some Tom Hanks magic, but yeah, it's just easy, it's lighthearted, and it's got a sweet, cute message.
I like a rom-com with a sweet, cute message.
I found it definitely for fans of the likes of How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days and Bridesmaids, but with none of the grittiness and goodness.
Need to just unpack that for a second. Your go-to was How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Love that. It is glorious.
I don't think I've seen it.
Bridesmaids needs to come first before you met
Sorry.
McConaughey little obsession there.
Yeah, it was missing a girl shitting on the street, to be honest.
Pretty much. So Amy Schumer's character has a lot of trouble with self-confidence, and she thinks it's holding her back in life. So she decides to enroll in a spin class. She heads along to the very first spin class, and the bike she's on collapses. She falls on her vagina and messes everything up. We're talking like kicked in pumpkin style down there. What did you think of that moment?
Well, her pants break, don't they?
Yep.
Yeah, to be honest, I think they did that really well from my perspective in terms of going to the gym and stuff. It's pretty intimidating. And I think they did that really well in how they made her, you saw how her body language is quite closed and walking in there, and yeah, the uncomfortableness was really obvious.
I definitely felt watching it with you a few of the moments, like her doing makeup tutorials on YouTube and fucking it up, and hair tutorials.
So accurate.
You laughed from a deep part of your soul in that moment, and I think it was really revealing.
Dave, tell me how you compare when you go to the gym to how it went.
Well, I'm more of a free-range, long-distance runner than an actual go-to-the-gym kind of guy, so I couldn't really relate with it.
Can't actually go to the gyms around your place, can you?
Well, not until they move. If they
If
were to move further away from the schoolyard, I'd actually be allowed to go there. So here's where we get into the story element or the crust of the movie. She goes back to a spin class where basically the lady running the spin class is Tony Robbinsing. That's a word, right? She's motivating and telling her how to live her life and be better. At which point she falls off the spin bike again. Gets a huge chunk of her hair ripped out by the exercise bike, which I felt inside of my soul.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then she gets a head injury. She wakes up, and all of a sudden she's basically given herself shallow house syndrome, and she sees herself as the beautiful person she always wanted to be, rather than what she actually looks like.
Do they use a version of her? Or?
At no point at all, which is, we both spoke about one of the best parts of it, they don't actually show what she sees.
Okay.
Which I thought that was a good element,
That's
because
good.
it didn't go down the path of Gwyneth Paltrow in Shallow Hal, where it actually had someone represent what her beauty standard was. She really started to show the confidence that she had.
Do you think it was Gwyneth Paltrow?
I hope not.
Have you pissed on your leg today?
I have. Well, personally,
This is going to date it. Have you seen Sandra Bullock? I saw a thing that said Sandra Bullock likes penis facials. And it's because she uses this thing.
I have Googled that term.
Yeah, she does this thing where she takes, it's made out of the foreskins of...
No!
Yeah, and then she rubs it on. I'm not even kidding. This is a thing.
Wow.
Foreskin.
Foreskin's from somewhere. Like from
From where?
Wait,
Like,
from-
what-
from- from-
Have you not gone to
We shop at different shops.
is it a jewelry store?
Yeah, it's just, yeah, sure. It's an organic place. Go to Go Vita.
Moose juice.
So, what did you think of the message? And did I read it wrong? But for a woman to have true confidence in herself, she needs a head injury?
It's just, yeah, that's exactly, okay, cut, this is it. The message is pretty clear, really, isn't it? Like, self-love and believe in yourself, and the confidence stuff will follow.
Don't make a joke about self-love. I know you're just
No,
kidding.
I won't. I won't talk about it.
I think I haven't
Yeah.
seen the film, but like I'm very big fan of her TV show and her stand-up, and obviously I know that she wouldn't put herself to a movie that isn't going to empower. So I want to see it just on the basis of that. I think I've seen all the films that she's put out. I liked Trainwreck a lot.
When the first trailer for this film came out, the social justice warriors of the world united in hatred against this film. But I think it was totally misdirected because it's not militant in its delivery, if that makes sense. It's not preachy.
Telling me
It's-
like crew-cutted white guys in their basements who were wrong.
They were. And one thing I'll say is there is no way this role was written for Amy Shumer or by Amy Shumer. I said after we
Yeah,
saw it,
you
I
did.
pictured a young Melissa McCarthy
Yeah.
in the role.
Yeah.
One thing that there was a few backhanded things that I thought maybe could have been handled better. Two of her friends that are also supposed to be like unlovable and unattractive.
Yeah.
One's overweight and one's just really normal and attractive.
I think she was meant to be like super plain Jane, but can I just say, 10 on point, beautiful highlight of like, yeah, her highlighting was on point. She just looks stunning.
For fans of great films, she's actually in the Wayans brothers film Little Man. So that's
And also
where a lot
she's
of
from Dawson's Creek.
Ah, right. Well, more people would know Little Man than Dawson's Creek.
I hate you.
Now, when Paul first asked me what I thought of the film when he stopped crying in his shower because we didn't invite him, I told him that the way I would describe this film is
Doesn't shower.
it's a dog poo, but it's a dog shit on someone else's lawn, so it sucks, but it doesn't bother me.
What about now? That was then. What are your thoughts now?
Now I kind of feel that the movies that I enjoy are like the trampolines that have the nets on the side, they're round and they have basketball dunks, whereas this film's just your old regular rectangle with rusty springs.
Your analogies for what you like is a lot to do with front and backyards.
Well, it's what I can see into from the trees at night. Back to the positives with casting. Michelle Williams plays against type, and she plays a really kooky, almost I Am Poppy style character.
Yeah, no, I didn't know who that was, but once you showed me a few clips of it, I was like, yeah, 100%, agreed.
One little cameo that popped up was Dave Attell, who was a favourite stand-up comedian of mine. A little bit disappointed how old he is now, and he actually looks like the ball sack of one of them cats that are bred to not have any allergies. You know, those ball cats. That's what he looks like now as the MC. My favourite scene in the entire movie is shock horror, spoiler alert. It's a strip scene where they go to basically a...
It's
What
not
would
meant
you
to be a
say?
strip scene.
Not
It's
a strip scene,
It's
it's
a
a-
dive bar that's having a bikini comp.
Right, and so
And she takes
she gets
to that
up
level.
and at first it was cringe funny. Like a lot of it
Yeah.
I just felt so uncomfortable because she was almost like finger gunning everyone. Every time there's one scene, iconic scene, she's walking down the street and every man that walks past, she looks and goes,
Yeah.
like, yeah, I know I'm hot. There was a scene that was featured heavily in the trailer that also played quite funny, but they kept revisiting it a bit too much, which was where, when she first thought she was hot, she's basically jiggling her belly and going, look at that.
Oh,
Can you
okay.
see that to the lady at the gym? What else stood out to you as a lady? You picked this film, which don't know that I'll get over anytime soon.
Well, you knew I was going to pick it, didn't you?
In a week when Deadpool 2 came out, there was the new Ocean's 8 film coming out, we could have seen Avengers again. Nona was giving the choice.
And I wanted to see this because of all the kerfuffle that went about it beforehand about her copying so much crap that she's not representative of all women. She apparently wasn't hideous enough for the role.
She's not funny in stand-up. Now, I'm gonna disable the comments.
Oh, how do you get this?
Gonna disable the comments on this video. I'm not sexist. The funniest person on earth at the moment is Tiffany Haddish.
So I like her stand-up a lot. Like there's some specials that are better than others. Her TV show I still think is one of the most relevant ones over the last like decades.
Yeah.
So I think that should be required watching. And she does a lot for her fellow comedians. Like she put David Hill on this one. She puts like all throughout her film, she's put in people that she's known on the way up.
Yeah.
And look, people can have an opinion of her. It's irrelevant because I mean she's done this all herself. She's done really amazing at it. So yeah,
That's a good point.
Now, the real standout of the film is actually Emily Kawasaki. I don't actually know how to say her last name. Emily from the Blurred Lines film clip.
Maybe I'm going deaf, maybe I'm going blind, maybe out of my mind.
There's just something about her that really conveys maybe Oscar-worthy performance.
Big time, yeah.
Nona got quite uncomfortable the amount of times I pointed out that she was on the screen while she was on the screen.
And I had no idea who she was. Sorry, don't hate me.
Yeah, I don't. She's afraid of you, and she doesn't even know you. But yeah, if you mention her name three times, you magic call of computers.
There is a standout scene for me that I was like, I don't know if you're aware of this, but this is fact. I'm gonna get emotional here, but
Get real.
get real.
Kids.
Do you know the scene where she comes home after like another night at the bar and everything, and she's taking her clothes off and she's standing there in this like beige bra, that like tight fitting thing.
Right at the start when we're establishing
That was
she's
actually
frumpy.
really real. Like I felt really.
I didn't notice you start crying.
I wasn't crying, but I did tear up because like every girl has had that moment, honestly, and that was probably like the most heartfelt moment for me. But yeah, get off of me.
I'm married. Now, when we went and saw it, first time I'd actually been to the cinema we're at, we kept one seat between us, which was because we're waiting for you to show up. It just never happened.
No, we didn't.
But also to show that we're not gay, because you just can't sit next to the person you go to the movies with.
We both have breasts, so.
Hey, does it ever make you wonder what's on my mind?
I'm gonna go home in my Spanx and look sadly into the mirror.
I've learnt nothing from that movie.
I'm gonna start
Body
hitting my
shaming.
head.
You two are terrible.
Just remember, any girls out there watching, all one of you, if you want self-confidence and really to find yourself beautiful, head injury.
That's what we've learnt on today's.
And if you can't get body confidence mansplained to you by someone wearing a KFC t-shirt, it can be kicked.
Let's talk about the Zinger Tower combo.
Did you snack it up at the cinemas?
I broke my sugar rule because I was peer pressured into having chocolate. They refused to sell us the Deadpool popcorn and drink
Until midnight.
till midnight because
Really?
the film wasn't out. So
I can't believe you didn't have like a hissy film.
He maintained himself very well.
Oh, that's really good.
I rang them on Monday to see if they still had the cups because the cinema I went to didn't have them and they didn't have them, so I was a bit upset because I'm a man.
Ish.
I'm an adult.
Yes.
But I always require peanut M&Ms.
Yeah, that's cool. I dig it. That's,
Yeah.
out of all the M&Ms, I'd say they were my favourite.
Sometimes they're a bit too crunchy for like dramatic movies. But
Crispy M&Ms?
One thing I had to ask if you noticed, I finished my Snickers pod so quickly that I actually had to pick up your packet to check if somehow we'd both been eaten out of my packet, and your packet was as empty as mine was.
you goddamn right it was.
Now, every time we review a film here on YouTube, we like to rate it out of the very comprehensive scale of out of 19. What would you give this film out of 19?
Out of 19, I would probably give it an 11.
How about just the night in general of going out with Dave? How much? What would you give that out of 19?
I'm married.
Can we do a minus?
Hey, does it ever make you wonder what's on my mind?
Did he show any chivalry whatsoever?
I think he threw his jacket. No, you weren't wearing a jacket, were you? You looked like summer, but I was like there with a giant jacket and stuff.
If it was him,
there was a comment made about
a denim waistcoat.
There was a comment about me wearing my thongs, which.
Did you wear your thongs?
I did. It was a date. I was trying to look fancy.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
You wore your fancy thongs. So did I.
It was different experience for me also getting to experience someone with a learning disability at the cinemas when it comes to recliners, because there's a button that goes up and a button that goes down, and it's just a bit much.
Well, I just assumed that I had obviously picked the dud seat because at first nothing was working. And can I just say, since when it was like gold class, but it wasn't.
That's what the generic cinema is like out
This
in
is
the
like,
ghetto.
oh yeah, I haven't been out to a cinema in ages.
Are you an internet pirate? Because we can ring some people and get you in a lot of
No,
trouble.
you can't. You don't know shit.
Hey, does it ever make you wonder
Sorry.
what's
now it's
Now
just,
it's Paulie.
You need to wear a
it's back.
KC t-shirt.
It's bad. So basically, go and see this film if you've got a free afternoon and maybe a head injury.
Honestly, just go with the girls. Go with like any younger, influential girls that could be.
Oh, hey, I'm free. No one asked me to go to the movies.
We left a seat and everything.
Fuckers.
I even bought an extra, snack thing. And
That's very convincing when you can't even think of what you're telling him you bought
For
for
me, a
him.
Milky Bar.
Before we go, why don't you tell our viewer where they can check you out?
so you can find.
What?
Lies.
Oh, there we go.
Lies.
So you can find me on all socials, and it's basically just Nona Mona throughout. It's or at Miss Nona Mona on Twitter, Insta.
Podcast.
Yeah, I have a podcast called Listen to Nona, and I basically just rant about things that piss me off about the world, and I look at. I take clips from all my social media private messages from creepy dudes, and I talk about that as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna listen to that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So yeah, and then you can find me around the
I get a
place
lot of
performing.
mentions.
Yeah.
A lot of mentions. A lot
Oh,
of
yes.
cross promotion.
Fucking
A lot of
Dave.
cross promotion going on.
Dear Mona,
I'm just really Hi guys, my name is
have you
Dave.
seen Booty Call?
Totally edited out.
So, that is the YouTube portion. We also have a radio show that you can stream around the world, wowfm.org/listen. And also, if you're in the is that Australian Central Time?
Monday nights at 8 on Australian Central Standard Time. You can catch Listen to Mona at any point by simply
It's
just
listen
listening.
to Nona, not Mona.
And also, you can check out our podcast is coming up soon called Dave's Video Graveyard. And I think that's it. Catch Dave on Twitter. He's on it all the time.
Oh yeah, I forgot to plug my radio show. Oh yeah, and you can also catch me on the radio as well, because you can catch me at 89.7 PBAFM with two other guys, not these guys, Alexis and Pete. So yeah, that should be really good. Did I tell you guys about the time that I also...
One eternity later.
When your shoes like really hurt and you're about to walk on stage. Yeah, but I guess it was like really tough because, it's just that adrenaline that kicks in and you're like, you know what? I don't feel my feet anymore because like America was like
Why
my
don't
favorite
you?
thing ever because like it was like a playground, guys. Like, you know when you go down in the underground in New York, was made by a lady called the Costume Creator, and I feel like it really kind of represents, like the empowerment of like sexy cows and, like